another edition of the Cooks and Books Show with your host, Adria Young. I've got a very, very special guest for you all. We're going to get this party started. I hope that you're staying warm because I know in Detroit right now, once again this week, it is very cold. Without further ado, I've got an international chef that will be talking with us about his expertise as well as his passion for what he does. I'm not only talking about a person that has created amazing dishes for people in the country. I'm talking about a man who is known throughout Europe, people. So, if he is baking and creating and cooking amazing things and he's known in the Big E, he's VIP. So I'm going to get it started and we're going to get this interview going. Everybody, I want to thank you once again for coming back with me this Thursday. But let's get it going. We are none but only talking about Paul A. Johnson. This young man is known for carrying out large functions. He has been drafted at least 6 to 8 times in the previous weeks. He has opened 2 successful restaurants within 4 years from an independent operator in one of the most busiest foodie places in the world, everybody. We're talking about England, okay? Cambridge. For rough ideals and waking away from a project, it has his sealed position comfortably that he does this all the time. And I am sure, these are the words coming directly from him, I am sure the Brunswick restaurant and bar in Cambridge will reflect more in-depth results, which will satisfy views for my work to come. So without further ado, I want to give it up for the infamous Chef Paul A. Johnson. Paul, are you here?
I'm right there.
Hey, how are you?
And that was spectacular. Great stuff.
Welcome to the Cooks and Books Show. And we've been trying to communicate. We've been communicating on Instagram for some time now. And
a long time.
I know, and some of your works are just absolutely amazing. I see you take the smallest thing like a tomato and bloom it out to a rose. I see you do amazing things with salad, and I'm like, wow, I've never seen a salad look so beautiful. So it's like you have gifted hands. Do you remember that movie called Edward Scissorhands? You put me in the mind of whatever you touch, it just turns to a piece of art, an absolute piece of art.
You need, don't mean to cut you, but you need to do that though. Food is so important today. The world, first thing first, we eat with all our senses, and it's what you visualize. It's 3 steps. What your meditation, you try to bring that to life in a physical form, and that's the way I look at food and art, and it's pretty much the same thing, hand in hand. You know what I mean? So yeah.
No doubt. Now, let's talk about some of the amazing things I've seen you do with desserts. I've seen you. If I'm not mistaken, I've seen some mousse chocolate in a champagne glass. What?
That's right.
And who were you preparing that for?
I'm my Instagram because we can hold a reference on that. And there's quite a lot of things there. And the important things about these things is that everything's been done. I made it myself. I've got a brigade that I work with, ranging from two guys to 8 guys. I just jumped out of a shift of 150 cupboards, and I came straight under the program. And I leave my guys. I give 4 guys in the kitchen to finish up because I know they're competent. So it's about one is experience because I've got 16 years under my belt.
Yes.
And I grasp from different backgrounds and different things that really influence and encourage you to do. Put your best out on the plate because over here in Europe it's very competitive, very, very competitive, and you have to be on top of your game. You know what I mean? But going back to the sweets, not to divert too much, but things like those, you need to be articulate, which is very important because from a chef's point of view, if you look at the layout of a restaurant or a catering industry, a chef rarely see the customer, and for us to get that message across is to communicate through the medium, which is that plate of food or that banquet or the buffet or whatever is going out to that customer. So you need to make sure that the message is sent to that customer of satisfaction. My philosophy is if I'm not happy with it or the plate is not smiling back at me, I'm not sending her out. That's how it is every time.
And it shows because I mean everything that I have seen you touch, it just has a hint of love added to it. A
Yeah,
hint of
definitely.
art, a hint of perfectionism because everything is perfect. Everything is in its place. And to me, it just what I love about how you prepare your entrees and your foods is that
Yeah,
you it makes everybody feel important.
it is, and that is so critical because yeah, coming out of the recession, there's one thing I learned. I don't. I'm pretty sure you guys might feel it over there in certain different aspects of the business. But you need to make sure it's important that a customer is satisfied at whatever sense of business your service you're providing because you're paying for that, the service you're providing. So that whatever they're paying for needs to be equivalent to what's coming out their pocket. And that's why it's so important to stress the emphasis of 100% satisfaction every time, and it's across the board in every business. Coming out of the recession, that's something we learned over here from being chefs and being creative and being competitive amongst ourselves, fresh produce. And I'm fortunate as a chef to have the experience and the knowledge of working with some of the guys like fundamental key skills as a chef because you can get diverted along the path because things are so commercialized now. When I started as a chef, you had books, kids got the internet, you got Instagram, that's all, you got Facebook, you got YouTube, and they teaching people different things, and which is a great thing, but the foundation has been destroyed slowly but surely, the authenticity, and there's so much things there that I think now chefs are missing. That is key to the progress and development. And I'm happy I was one of those to grasp onto the last moments of good things. You know,
Okay, so tell me, I see that you had the opportunity to create uh some of your best food choices for the Rolls Royce company. Did I read that right?
oh yeah, that's
Tell
right.
me about that. That must have
I
been
had
all that in a bag of chips.
that was a challenge. There's quite a few things to be honest. That was really good because it was a new project I took on 4 months ago, and the challenge was volume, higher volume down to Brunswick that you previously spoke about in the introduction. And Rolls Royce is a business we had to get, so we put out all the stops to do it, and we put out the stops, the caviar, the champagne, the anything you can think about that can make it happen. We did, but my approach toward it is that they're normal people, because if you let that kind of status really get to you as a chef, it's very intimidating, and I have confidence in what I do. And I step through it every time with that confidence, and I do it with very, very sincere and honest. You're honest with yourself and what you do, and you think it's a principle in food. If you, in the discipline there, if you follow the discipline and the honesty, 99% of the time you get it right. And I did achieve that. We did manage to get the contract and with Rolls Royce, and it was very important. They put a very big responsibility on our shoulders the day to 4 days, sorry. Um, it was the award ceremony from Europe, and we had to cater for it 4 days with different events. The last dinner was the award ceremony, and that was a long day for me.
Wow.
16-hour day. We're looking at about 350 delegates from around the
350.
world. Yeah,
350.
from around the world.
I mean, so I've read about other people that you had had the opportunity to uh actually you were selected as the feature chef as well. And not only have you um been, how do I say this? You have been given or selected from celebrities not only in Europe, but I understand that you're building a solid reputation in other places in America as well. And then the restaurants that you're opening, congratulations with that. Let's talk
Appreciate it.
about the
Thanks so much.
restaurants.
Sorry, say that again.
The restaurants.
Restaurants, Now, well, I've done two, like you mentioned before.
Yeah,
I've
two
done the
within
Bronx.
4 years. I'm sorry, two.
Yeah, I've done the Brunswick, and I've done this restaurants over here is quite trendy at the moment. And the thing about restaurants here is as competitive as it used to be before, and about 10 years ago. It died out and they came back in, but they came back with a different twist of things. The classics were 10 years ago. Now the classic with the modern twist, and the variation just grow, expand. But I've managed to open up two in the last 4 years. Brunswick was one, and the White Swan and Quai, which is a different it's a step down to a fine dine restaurant. And the approach was to understand your demographic and what your customer needs. You know, it's very important from a business point of view. And Cambridge, if anyone listening understand what Cambridge is like, and ever been in Cambridge in England, it's very, very multicultural. And to understand that, you have to really reach out to your community and research and what to deliver to them. And we nailed that quite easily because we've done our research. And it was really on my back as a chef to get it right, because in and around Cambridge we have all the pizzerias, which is like the fast food joints in the UK, which a lot of people out here, you know, you want something really quick to go, but there's a market for fine dining, classic food, which is beneath the surface of the everyday life. So in order for you to find out, you have to do a research to get the customer base established.
Now, out of the 16 years that you have been doing this, what would you consider to be your most memorable? Do you have one in particular? Was it a good situation, or was it a situation where a disaster may have taken place behind the scenes?
I expect that question. I remember, you know, ideally I'm from Jamaica, and when I started out, my 4th year in working with the resorts in Jamaica was Sandals, which is quite famous throughout the Caribbean. And I had Warren Buffett and Bill Gates.
You had Warren Buffett and Bill Gates.
Down in Jamaica doing their thing with their staff. It was like a staff appreciation thing going on for a week, and they rent out the whole tower, one side of the tower, and they were on the beach. We were having a barbecue on the beach, and we have quite a few. It was very, very, very secure and secluded. And it didn't hit me till about 5 years later. I thought, shit, had those guys serving them for a week, you know, and it was moving about 5 years later to realize I've been through that phase, and it was quite a rush, adrenaline going through that phase, because I remember there was quite a lot of things going on with that particular hotel, and there's a lot of famous people that passed through. And I looked at the list; it was some I really can't remember because it's such a pace. But that was one of the outstanding things I've experienced. Coming in the UK from Jamaica, I was drafted to do a flambe contract, which was I thought was special because I was drafted for that specially from the Caribbean, and that I was doing at the time. So that was one of my moments that I thought, you know, had to be something good, and I used that to build my persona, you know, and make it my name for myself that it is today. I landed the first interview with one of the Marco Pierre White. You guys might know him from his Michelin star background. He's quite famous as, you know, Gordon Ramsay's and
Okay, so
other guys. You know what I mean? So I did get off to a really good start, which I think a lot of chefs don't really get that opportunity every day. And I embraced it. That's what it is.
okay, so tell me, in all of the 16 years, you got an opportunity. I mean, if you got an opportunity to do what you did in Jamaica and serve some of the richest people in, I mean, we talking about global here.
I know.
So
It's really significant.
the sky is almost like the limit then. So who would you have next on your list that you would like to prepare one of your featured meals for?
You know, to be honest, at the moment, For the last 4 years, since I took the Brunswick one and the white one and quiet, and I realized the ability of younger kids coming up as chefs at the moment. My focus has really been to mold young minds and turn them to something good. And I realized that's where my satisfaction is. You know, in the UK, there's a lot of competition going on. Now, you probably see it over there also. We got Kitchen Nightmare and Master Chef and stuff like that going on. I've always been encouraged to get on it and do it. And it was never me. It was always to give back to my kitchen and to give back to my surrounding and to pass on knowledge to the kids who are coming out of school or missing out on the key things that I learned as a teenager, learning to be a young chef. Whosoever, I've got a word of knowledge and confidence to go and cook for anyone, because I know the principle remain the same in cooking. You change it, then you go wrong. Key is to understand the principle, the basic principle of certain things, and build on the basics, a variation that represent you as a chef. You know, so I took 4 months. I've joined this new brigade now, and it's 4 months in. And the first 2 months, I took my youngest chef to get him the best team award in a nation competition. You know, and all he needed was a bit of motivation and confidence to produce a dish. We worked on it for 6 weeks and went in a competition and we turned it out. You know, he got the best team award, and never thought he would ever get something like that 4 months before. You know what I mean? So that is for me, it's rewarding.
So we're gonna take a commercial break, and we will be back. So we will be back with Chef Paul Johnson, and where you calling me from tonight, Paul?
I'm calling you from Cambridge.
Hey,
Okay.
so we'll be back with Paul on the Cooks and Books Show, live with Adrian Young. Stay there, don't go anywhere. We're gonna take a break, everybody.
Yes, sir.
And we are back live with the Cooks and Books Show. It's your host, Adrian Young. We had to take a quick break. You know, we have to do those kind of things to keep it going, keep Urban Nation Radio going. But I still have my international chef online. Paul, are you still with me?
I'm still here.
All right. And let's tell the audience that I was actually calling you a different name that you actually use on Instagram. Tell everybody, that story really touched me as I read your bio. Tell everybody why you call yourself that particular name on Instagram.
Well, my dad died about a year and a half ago, in 2013, and it's always something that brings us together as kids and as family when I was growing up, food. And I thought, you know, I looked at my catalog of all the stuff I've done over the years, and after he passed off, and I remember the last time I spoke to him, it was, I was making something, and I remember the last time I had that dish was I was at home with him. And I thought, man, I have to do something to keep him alive, because there's a lot of things I do, and after he passed, and I thought, just remind me of my dad. And I thought food was always central to our family. You know, it was bring us together, keep us together. You know, I think with us growing up in the Caribbean, it's something that was always symbolic. And He had a restaurant back when I was a kid, and it was called Joe J's, and it's named after himself. And I thought, well, why not put it out there as Joe J's? You know, and I never changed it. I never thought about it for a second that it was the wrong thing to do. You know, when you get that feeling that something is right, that's how I feel about that. And I throw it out, and it just stuck. My brothers and sisters always saying, you know, that is something really good to commemorate his life, because it is always something that he always happy around, food. You know, and it just gives you that urge to keep doing it and doing it well. You know, that represent my dad.
Yeah, because I was calling you that, and you let me know, and when you told me the story, I think that's so. I know that your father is looking from above and very very proud,
Yeah,
very very proud
no doubt.
of all the this young man from Jamaica who has been a professional chef for 16 years, doing all of these wonderful things, serving your food created by you for some of the wealthiest people we know globally. I
I
mean,
know.
the
I
sky
admire
is
it.
the limit. I mean, who would you want to serve next if you had anybody else on your list? Who would you want to prepare your food for?
My food, oh, it's so weird to be asked that question, because I'm open to that invitation to anyone. Um, I don't know,
Is there
anyone.
any celebrity off top of your head that you say or think that you would ever like want to cook for them? Is there anybody offhand or just no?
Why don't you come over?
Oh, yeah. Send me, hey, let me know. Because you know I love food. I'm honored. Wow.
Yep, Christmas,
Okay.
Christmas we get it done.
I'm going to get the passport ready. Okay. Don't be surprised if I come a knocking now.
Nope, nope, no, that's good. I'm always ready.
Okay. Well,
But
you know.
on a real, not the country, but in a real though, I'm always ready to do my thing for anyone. You know, and that's what I teach my boys that I work with every day. I said, listen, you know, you got to create food that you got confidence in, that you can prepare and present that to anyone. And you know that you give it your best. You
Yeah.
know, there's always going to be competition out there, and you always got to look at your food and be your own critic. Your work,
Okay.
be your own critic. You know, it's important, because you know when you get that critic, that feedback, it can either build you or it can knock you back. But be your first critic, and a lot of times, you know, whatever come behind that, you can justify it.
Okay. Well, our interview has come to an end. I finally got you on. I'm so happy. Will I be able to call you next time, let's say a year from here, to get you back on the show to see what's going on with you, Paul?
No doubt, I'm
Oh,
happy to do that.
well, it has been an honor to have you on. I want to thank you, listening audience. I want to thank you for listening to internationally acclaimed Chef Paul A. Johnson on the Cooks and Books show. We're going to take a break, and I'm going to begin the actual cooking or pastry portion of the show. I have my featured live in studio guest coming on shortly. A piece of cake with Miss Danielle. So we're gonna take a break. Paul, thank you so much, and it's been a pleasure having you.
It was great. It was my pleasure. I enjoyed the experience. I'll do it if you anytime again. Just let me know.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, it's Adria Young. We're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna get it going with my in-house guests. Everybody, we've got some sweet treats for you and a great guest here from Detroit. So stay live on the Cooks and Books show with your host Adria Young. Stay here and don't you go anywhere. I hope you guys enjoyed the first portion of the Cooks and Books show this evening. I just need to ask you guys something. Did you enjoy talking to internationally known Paul, Chef Paul, calling all the way from England, who has served food for billionaires, not millionaires, globally known billionaires, people. I mean, it just does not get any better than that. And we're talking about a young person who has 16 years under his belt with cooking, dreams do come true. Dreams absolutely do come true. From Jamaica, now living in Europe, living in London, and has actually created one of his signature dishes for some of the most powerful people in the world. So just think about that. Just think about that for a minute. If we apply ourselves and commit ourselves to whatever we want to do in life, it can truly be done. And speaking of getting some things done today, everybody, I have got some delicious treats in the house today. Oh my goodness. And I have an amazing young lady who creates these delicious treats and only uses our organic products. And for my poor little nephews, who I will never forget this past Thanksgiving, who could not eat a lot of sweets, she also caters to individuals who are vegan. So she creates some of her treats for vegan individuals as well. So without further ado, I want to give it up for Donyell. Our Am I saying this wrong? I'm so sorry. Arterialism, not arterialism. Arterialistic. Donyell Arterialistic. But let's just talk about what you'll get when you purchase some of her delicious items. She is committed that these items are only made of the best and finest ingredients. Of course, they are organic pastries. They have no artificial flavors or preservatives. They are beautiful. She looks beautiful. Without further ado, let's get into this conversation. You know what? We planned this interview, months ago?
Yes.
And time, I guess it doesn't wait on anyone because you're here. And oh my goodness, seeing is definitely believing because I see some beautiful, I know they're delicious, but audience, if you can see this assortment of cupcakes that Donyell has bought in today, wow. Oh my goodness, is that one with a peanut butter cup on top?
Yes.
Okay, well, let's get into the history of your company, darling. What made you start it? What made you say it's time to get something going? I could do it. I believe in it, and it will create income for me.
Yes. Well, first of all, I thought of the company Piece of Cake because me, myself, being a vegetarian, I wanted to eat something that was healthy. I also was very in tune to what's going on in our society and the food industry, particularly with foods with artificial flavors and artificial ingredients, preservatives, additives, all of these things that are basically tearing our systems apart. And when I say that, I don't mean to be harsh about it, but really that's what it's slowly doing. When you Google some of the ingredients on products and foods that are, filled with additives and preservatives, particularly prepackaged foods, you will find that these products that are in these foods are chemicals, but particularly the high fructose corn syrup. We'll talk about that first. High fructose corn syrup is in a lot of pastries. It's in a lot of things that we eat that are sweet, cookies, cupcakes, all kinds of sweets. And it's a chemical that's endowed in sweets to make it taste even sweeter. And it's equivalent to a drug, literally. There's a test study they did on CNN that showed a laboratory test they did with some laboratory rats, and they put them in cages with an Oreo cookie, some drugs, methamphetamine, cocaine, and heroin, the most addicting drugs in the world, and they put all these different drugs in these rats and put them in the different cages to see which one that they would go to, and along with the Oreo double stuffed cookies, that's the most popular cookie in the world, in case you didn't know. And the Oreo cookie is the most popular cookie in the world, double stuffed particularly. Anyhow, when they got done doing the test results with the rats, they went to the Oreo double stuffed cookie the most because they were addicted to the high content of the high fructose corn syrup in that cookie, which is in a lot of our pastries, a lot of our foods, a lot of our sweets, even in ketchup. So when you see what these chemicals are doing, even to rats, and then of course people as well, it's addicting, and it makes people crave more and more sugar. It makes your adrenaline run up to where you just have to focus on this food, and you eat more of it, and you're pretty much addicted to it. And it is breaking down our bodies where it's not healthy. And there's side effects to this in our bodies where diseases and like diabetes and other different diseases are popping out. Even in our young people, you have younger people now and children that are coming up with diseases, and you're wondering, why is this happening? You have all kind of digestive problems, particularly irritable bowel syndrome and Crohn's disease and other things that are coming about now that we've never heard of in our society until these last years. And it's because of the ingredients and the artificial flavors and colors and the additives that are in our food products. Artificial colors, yellow 5 in particularly. If you just pull out any prepackaged food and look at the ingredients on them and Google what they are and Google the side effects of them, you'll be blown away. And the food industry is allowed to do this, to put these items in foods and get away with it because they're corrupt and in cahoots with the government. The government knows that these food products are chemicals and the additives and preservatives are killing people slowly, and it's cancer causing as well. But they're allowing this to pass in the food industry because they're being paid off. There's a documentary that I like you all to watch. It's called Food Incorporated. You can buy the documentary, the DVD at Whole Foods, or you can go and download it on YouTube. It talks about the food industry as a whole, even from Tyson Chicken, which is really, I don't want to say talk about them, but I'll let you make your judgment upon it, what they're doing with these chickens and the antibiotics they're putting in them, the hormones they're injecting them with, and what it's doing to people and what the side effects are and how they're getting away with this. They're cloning animals. They're in grocery stores right now. They're not even labeling them as being cloned. So you can be eating some cloned meat and you will not know it. GMOs, which stands for genetically modified organisms, those are killing people. The MSGs, it's just, a lot, the whole gamut of what's going on in our food industry. And when I researched it and found more and more about it, and I also had my own health problems dealing with irritable bowel syndrome myself. I had irritable bowel syndrome for years, in 4 or 5 years. I just popped up with it one day. I couldn't go to the bathroom. There's 2 different irritable bowel syndromes. One is constipation, and one that's you go all the time. And I had the one where you're constipated. I couldn't understand, well, why am I always constipated? Because there was foods that I was eating that had chemicals in it, and I didn't know, and I didn't understand. So I said, I'll just go particularly organic, and let's see if that will help me. And that's what I did. And after I went organic, after about a month, I went to the bathroom 2 and 3 times a day. Not to gross anybody out, but it's just part of our body. It's a system in our body that needs to work correctly. And once I literally changed my diet to strictly organic, my irritable bowel syndrome instantly went away. So that showed me and told me that it was something to do with the food. It's the chemicals, it's the breakdown, it's the preservatives, the additives, the artificial colors and flavors, and all the things they're injecting in these foods, from our fruits and vegetables that we buy at the grocery stores, all the way to the prepackaged foods from restaurants or wherever you go to buy your food. So it does make a difference. And a long time ago, I'd say, well, I don't want to buy organic because it's expensive. But, is there a cost for your health? And really, organic is not that expensive when you compare. It's just not that expensive because you're buying something that's healthier for you, and you're also eating less of it. Particularly fruit and vegetables. Fruit and vegetables taste better. They're cleaner. They taste fresher. They're sweeter than regular produce that has been sprayed with chemicals. Okay, so when you're eating something and then the nutrients aren't deprived, because all those chemical breakdowns deprive the nutrients in a fruit or a vegetable. When I eat an organic apple as opposed to a regular apple that has been sprayed with pesticides to preserve it so that it won't rot as quickly, it's sweeter than the regular apple is, the organic apple is. And the reason why they have to charge a little more for organic is because they're losing more produce because they're not sprayed with chemicals. So they're not getting as many to put out in the grocery stores. They're losing more of the product, so the price of it goes up. But is it worth it though? And then yes, it does seep. But even if you peel the apple, it doesn't matter. If you peel a cucumber, even a banana, it still seeps into the product. It still seeps into the fruit or the vegetable. Because people think if I peel it, no. It will still go inside of that fruit or that vegetable. Those chemicals that they spray those fruit and vegetables with will go in there. And it does get into your pores, it gets into your system, and you think, well, one apple, well, just accumulating this in your system, in your body, day by day, year by year, month by month, it breaks down your body. even from your skin tone and your the health of your body, your skin itself. It's not as glowing, acne, all of that is caused by these additives, preservatives, and artificial colors and flavors. And not to mention the digestive system that I talked about. So, with all of that said, it made me say, okay, from now on, I'm going to be an organitarian. Not just a vegetarian, but an organitarian. I only eat organic foods. And it's worth it, it's healthy. A long time ago, years ago, when we were kids, that's how our parents cooked. They didn't have all these pesticides and things going on as much as they do now. Now it's tremendous. Everything was pretty much a little more natural. Even people who had gardens and they grow their own food. But nowadays everything is prepackaged, and we're going to eat out and go to Fridays and all these fast food restaurants and stuff, and they're not healthy and they don't care, and they're capitalizing on people making bad food decisions and not taking the time to eat and have gardens in their backyards, or even a community garden, and taking the time to grow their own fruits and vegetables, or even just sacrifice and buy organic. And I figured, if I can buy a costly designer handbag or a pair of shoes or whatever, get my nails done or whatever it is, if I can afford to do that, I can afford to buy food and things that are going to take care of myself. And so I can live a long and good, healthy life. Those things are more important to me than saying that, oh, I don't want to spend the money. But I see when people make the choice of buying things that are looking good on their bodies, on the outside, dressing or whatever it is your thing is, that's more important than what you put inside your body.
We
I don't
just
think so.
We have to change our way of thinking. But let's get into, my love, when piece of a cake, organic pastries came into mind, your mission for it, and what year it was founded.
Yeah, so, excuse me. So, with all of that I just said, and I'm very passionate about how I feel about this, because I think as society, like Adria just said, that we should start making better food choices. So, we have to educate ourselves. We have to be knowledgeable about, excuse me,
Okay,
knowledgeable
knowledgeable.
about, it's a tongue twister, knowledgeable about what is going on right now. So, I started wanting to cook pastries that were organic, vegan, gluten-free, and also sugar-free. So I, looked up some recipes, and I got a vegan cookbook and a vegan pastry cookbook, and I started making things right at home in the beginning. And I said, okay, I love cupcakes a lot. I couldn't find any vegan cupcakes. I couldn't find any organic cupcakes. I couldn't find any good gluten-free cupcakes. So I just started making my own. I came up with these different recipes and different, flavors and ingredients, and I just started cooking right at home, and I was just like, wow. Then I went out and asked some friends if they wanted to try my cookies and my cupcakes and my little miniature pound cakes, and they said okay, and I let them taste them, and they were like pleasantly surprised. They liked them. They initially, people think that when you're eating something that's vegan or gluten
It's
free,
not good. And
it's not
it's
good.
such a myth. That's such a
And
myth.
even they say, or even organic, well, it can't taste good, or there's no flavor to it, or it tastes like hospital food. That's the first reaction I get from people when I tell them that my pastries are organic. They don't want anything a part of it. So I had to let them know that you have to wing yourself, because it's a sugar addiction habit they have. It's a sugar addiction from eating the high fructose corn syrup so long and so many years that they're addicted to. So when you realize that's where that is coming from, that attitude, then you have to let them know, well, how about trying it out and seeing what you think? And I haven't had any bad comments when I've let people try my pastries. Cooking with stevia, it's a sugar derived from a plant. So I decided to do a sugar-free cupcake and not use Splenda, aspartame, NutraSweet Equal, because all of those are chemically endowed.
Carcinogens.
Yes, sugars and sweeteners that are worse than eating real sugar. So, and particularly the high fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup is man-made. Okay. So, anyways, I wanted to accompany and help out people that they have the diabetes and that don't know where to buy products that have that are natural with sugar, and that don't have the Splenda and the aspartame that they're used to buying in the stores that are ready available for them, because they're sugar free, but they still have the chemicals. So what I did was I came up with a cupcake, and I said, okay, this one is going to be cooked with stevia, but stevia is a really strong sugar. It's very, very, very sweet. So you have to kind of be careful. So I use a little bit of agave. So I used an organic vanilla flavor stevia, And then I use a little bit of agave. I don't want to tell my secret, but I use a little bit of agave because stevia sometimes leave a little aftertaste. But the organic stevia that I use that has the vanilla flavor doesn't. So, anyways, now you know my secret. So then I put a little bit of agave. So my cupcakes that are sugar free have 75% stevia and 25% agave, and the cupcakes are only 45 calories. I didn't bring those here today, but those are also very good and they're very, very popular. So I was very happy that I was able to come up with a cupcake that was sugar-free, that was healthy. Because like I said, stevia is derived from a plant. The cupcakes I brought today are vegan, and vegan just means no dairy.
And we are going to have to take a commercial break, and we're going to let Miss Donyell break down the selection and the variety of her vegan cupcakes that she bought in. So please tune in to the Cooks and Books Show with your host, Adri Young, and I have Donyell, owner of Piece of Cake Organic Pastries, in the house. And if you want to call in and ask questions, feel free to do so. 313-867-1305. We're going to take a commercial break, but we want you to stay with us and don't you go anywhere. And we are back on the Cooks and Books Show. And oh my goodness, she just opened the container, ladies and gentlemen. If you knew what heaven on earth smelled like, I'm telling you, I smell it live right here at the studio. And she's going to talk about 4 of her signature cupcakes. So pick any. I just don't know where to go. I'm looking at red velvet. I'm looking at the chocolate Reese's. I'm looking at that cookie. I'm like a little child in cupcake heaven. So Daniela, you want to start and tell us what we have today? Yes.
Yes, the cupcakes that I bake, excuse my terminology earlier from saying cook.
It's okay.
Okay, I'm a little nervous, my first live interview, so bear with me here. So the cupcakes that I baked that I brought today is, let's see, vanilla bean, we have carrot cake, we have cookie dough, we have the chocolate and peanut butter, we have the cookies and cream, I have a peppermint cupcake that's new, I did for the holidays.
How cute, peppermint.
I have strawberry shortcake. I have the the carrot cake. Let's see here, red velvet, and the apple pie. And I also have a bumpy cake.
I have never heard of an apple pie cupcake, so that is original. I've heard of
Wanna try
apple
it?
cake. I think I will after the show. But she not only does cupcakes, people, she does cakes. And please pull out your
Yes, she
cookies
does.
and show the live audience.
Yes.
She does cookies too. Now, this beautiful one is called the Million. Is this the Million?
Yes.
Let's talk about that one first. Get
This
me
is
inspired.
a millionaire cookie. This is a vegan cookie. It has vegan chocolate chips and walnuts,
Yummy. For my tummy.
organic walnuts at that. Okay. And it's called the millionaire cookie because it tastes like $1,000,000, literally.
I just bet.
We also have the peanut butter cookie here. I have my sweet potato pie cookie.
Hold it up.
Sure.
Whoa, sweet potato pie.
This is the peanut butter cookie here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is the millionaire cookie here.
Millionaires.
Don't worry, my hands are clean. If somebody wants to come over and try some.
Oh, don't
Fish
worry.
and
I'm not scared, as the kids say.
I have my oatmeal cookie here. Oatmeal raisin. I also have regular oatmeal without raisin, and I have oatmeal butterscotch as well.
I bet you that is something else. Oatmeal butterscotch?
Yes.
Wow.
I have my snickerdoodle sugar cookie.
Infamous.
This is the sweet potato pie, and you can get it with glaze and without glaze on it.
Stop. With or without glaze?
Yes,
You're catering to the people's needs.
absolutely. I have my chocolate chip cookie here, and you can take your pick and decide which one you like.
Wow. Well, oh my goodness. I'm going to have you come back on and do a part 2 and perhaps a part 3 in 2015 because unfortunately our time is up. But Donyell, tell the people if they want cupcakes, cookies, and cake where they can reach you at, darling.
Yes, you can go to my like page at Facebook. It's Piece of Cake. And you also can email me if you like an order. I don't have a storefront. That's not how we sell our items. We do parties, we do delivery. My email is pieceofcakecafe@yahoo.com. Piece of Cake Cafe. We also do parties and events and birthday parties, and we do delivery with the minimum order of $25. Our cupcakes are $4 a piece, and our cookies are $2.50 a piece. And we also do little small miniature pound cakes, vanilla buttercream pound cake, and we do a sweet potato pie pound cake.
That is awesome. Well, you know what? I want to thank everyone for tuning in once again to another segment of the Cooks and Books Show. I want to thank my international chef calling all the way from Europe, Paul. You rock. And none but last but least, Miss Donyell with pieces or piece of cake organic pastries. Thank you so much. Will you come back and see us in the near future? We probably need to do an educational show on what we talked about prior. But my love, it's been a privilege having you on. People, we've got to get out of here. Stay warm. Enjoy this the rest of this weekend. May I try this one with the Reese's peanut?
Please do.
Absolutely, the
My
Reese's
pleasure.
peanut butter cup. I'm gonna take a bite.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness, people, we have got to go. We love you. We're tuning out. Adria Young, the Cooks and Books Show. Say bye, Danielle.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
See you guys next week.
Have a
Bye
nice
bye.
Christmas, everybody.
Bye bye.
Yes. Which one do you want?